going, everybody? MotardSteve here. We're gonna go down this road. Never been down this road. Looks interesting. So guys, I get asked often a lot, and I did this vlog before, way back when I first started my channel, but I decided I want to revisit it and kind of explore around while I do it. Why did you get a DR650? Why didn't you get a DRZ-400? You know, the 650 is a heavy, fat bush pig. You know, it's not good for being a supermoto. It's just way too fucking heavy. But weight to power ratio, the DRZ-400 is a better supermoto. Why'd you go with the 650? You know, nobody has a 650. But I'll tell you, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but the 650 actually is a pretty popular supermoto. And for different reasons than the DRZ, but it's actually a pretty popular supermoto, believe it or not. But why is the DR650 a pretty popular supermoto? I'll tell you why. Because I'll give you a couple bullet points here. The torque, the weight actually makes it a good street motard. Probably not the best track motard, but makes it a very good street motard. And there's a stop sign here or something? What the fuck? Oh, no? Okay, weird. That was very weird. But the extra weight makes it a good street motard, and also the torque. Like for instance, we'll do a 0 to 60 run. We'll turn around real quick and go do a 0 to 60 run down this fucking street. Hopefully I don't get the cops caught on me or something. At a dead stop, 0. That's 60. But you know, what's the big thing you're gonna look for when trying to choose between a DRZ-400 and a DR650? Well, the first thing, if you're looking to make a track bike or a track supermoto or a stunting supermoto, the DRZ-400 is probably your better bet. It has a little bit better power to weight ratio, and you know, it's a little more revier, which is preferred for racetrack scenarios. Also, the engine is liquid cooled, therefore you can get more power out of a smaller engine, because a lot of people say, wait, well, how much power does the 650 make? And then you tell them it only makes about the same wheel horsepower as the DRZ-400, and they lose their shit. They're like, wait, that's a shitty bike then. Why would I want that? But a lot of people ignore the torque, and they also ignore some other things, but I'll go ahead and tell you about those now. Like the DR650, it was made back in the 90s. Design-wise, it's pretty much still the same bike that it has been for the last 25 years. It's still pretty much the same bike. There's been small tweaks here and there as far as the engine. Like a lot of people say the early 90s models made more horsepower due to the way they were set up. And then the bike was detuned a little bit for a better gas mileage, stuff like that. You know, it lost some weight here and there. The engine lost some weight somewheres along the line. Suzuki added a counter shaft seal retainer somewheres. I think that was like after 2009, maybe 2010. I'm not exactly sure where that was added at. But you know, pretty much, other than a couple nitpicky things, the bike is the same exact bike that it has been. And you know, the DRZ-400 has a little bit newer technology when it comes to the motorcycle world. But that comes with both its pluses and its minuses. The DRZ-400 makes the same power as the 650 with a smaller engine because of its liquid-cooled setup. But that also comes with its own set of problems, you know. There's more shit to go wrong on the bike, you know. If your water pump fucks up or you get a puncture in one of your water hoses, you can't ride your bike. Your bike is pretty much dead in the water because it's going to overheat like a son of a bitch. Now on the 650, the only thing you got to worry about is keeping it full of oil. If you keep it full of oil to where it needs to be, then you will have no problems with this bike at all. It will give you no problems. I've had this bike since February, and you know, I've put it through hell. You guys see how I ride it. You know, I ride it hard every vlog, and every day I ride it as well. Oh, I hate this light. This light never fucking changes. Oh, you're turning. Thank you! So if you're looking for like a track-friendly supermoto, but one that you can still ride around town and commute on at the same time and not have to worry about it fucking up, the DRZ-400 is probably a good bet. With its lighter weight and its higher revs, it makes a better track bike. But the DR650, if you're looking for a bike that you're going to want it to be like basically a Swiss Army knife and just be good at so many different things, you know, off-road, on-road, you know, commuting, long distance riding, you know, or ripping it around at a track day or two, maybe not a bunch of them, then, you know, the 650 with its extra torque and its extra weight makes a very good street motard. Because you hear a lot of people complain that, oh, my supermoto feels squirrely once it gets up to high speeds, you know, it feels very twitchy. Well, the 650, because it sits a little bit lower and it has more weight to it, about 40 more pounds, somewhere around there. I think mine, after I took the exhaust off and a couple other things, it probably weighs about 350. You know, it's more stable at higher speeds because of that. But you can still hooligan around on this bike, believe it or not. You can still fuck around and hooligan around on this bike. You can still do some shit like that and fuck around on this bike if you want to. Which I think is funny, because a lot of people view the 650 as, oh, that's an old man's bike. That's a bike for people that are old and gray. And I'll tell you, this bike, it definitely is not. It definitely has some ass to it. You know, if you rev it out, even in stock form, it definitely has some ass to it. You know, so it's not some detuned fucking grandpa bike, you know, like everyone tries to say it is. I mean, it'll definitely put out some ass. Oh, look, the guy's not selling his Piaggio anymore. So let's go ahead and end this vlog with a little couple bullet points on each bike and kind of a recap. DRZ-400, slightly, just slightly, it's not much, slightly better power to weight ratio, which makes it more track friendly. It's lighter weight, so if you want to do like if you want to throw some dirt trim on it and take it off road, it will do a little bit better in the really technical shit, because if it's a lighter weight, you're not gonna have to worry about it falling over and shit as much. You know, reliability wise, the DRZ-400, it's probably almost just as reliable as the 650. I mean, yeah, it has the liquid cooled system that you could fuck up something on that, especially when you're off-road. You know, you could puncture the radiator, or you could rip a hose, tear a hose or something, or smash the water pump, and that'd pretty much knock your bike out of commission. You know, there's more parts on the bike that could potentially break, so that's why I'm not going to say it's as reliable as the 650, because, you know, anytime you put more systems into a bike, you're creating more variables to go wrong. But it's still a very reliable bike, you know, it's still a dual sport bike, it's still a single cylinder, and it's still been around for years, so without being relatively changed all that much. So, you know, it's a very reliable platform for what it does. The DRZ-400 is a little bit higher revier. You got to rev it a little bit higher, which makes it better for racing, I would say. Because, you know, in racing, you don't really lug the bikes around a lot. And then, you know, we'll hit a couple bullet points on the 650. You know, the 650. First thing that pops to mind is it's a simple machine. It's a very simple machine. It's basically put oil in it, keep the tires good, keep your fork oil good, and fucking the bike will last literally forever. I mean, all you got to do is keep the oil changed in it every, you know, 3,000 miles. I do 2,500 miles because, you know, I'm a little anal about my oil. And the bike will be good to you for a very long time. You know, also, the extra torque on the bike is very good for commuting, because a lot of people like to look at horsepower and not torque. You know, the DR650 has almost 15 more, if not a little bit more, torque than the DRZ-400. So as far as a street supermoto, I'd say the 650 gets the upper hand because it has more torque. And I'd say especially for beginners, it's probably better. Even though it's got a little more weight to it, you don't have to be as precise with your shifting, because the 650 will lug around a lot more. Like right now, she's lugging, and you know, she doesn't really care. What the fuck are these people doing? You know, stunt-wise, the 650 is probably not as easy to stunt as a DRZ, because of the slightly heavier weight. You know, a lot of people say that they feel comfortable wheeling any bike, and then they get on the 650, and it's just like that extra weight and the weird balance point just kind of throws them off, and they're like, I can't get comfortable wheeling this bike. But it definitely can be wheelied. There's plenty of people that can wheelie these fucking bikes all fucking day and ride them out. I know a guy named, I know a buddy on Instagram known as Tyler Two Wheels. I mean, he can fucking wheelie his bike, no fucking problem. You know, he's got a Dynojet kit on it, full airbox mod, and I'm not sure if he has a full exhaust or a slip-on exhaust, but you know, he can wheelie his bike all day. And that's without a new carb or anything. And the extra weight makes the bike more stable at higher speeds. So if you plan to like take some longer trips, I mean, there's a lot of people that throw some highway type sprockets on this bike, and they carry several sprockets with them. And no, they turn these bikes into little adventure bikes, basically. You know, they kind of turn them into like a jack-of-all-trades adventure bike. And this bike is definitely very good for that. I mean, you could probably do the same with the DRZ-400 as well. But if you want something that's more simple and more reliable, the 650 is the platform to go to. And you know, pluses for both bikes, they both have a shitload. And when I say a shitload, I'm not exaggerating. They have a shitload of aftermarket parts you can do it. You know, carburetors, exhaust, plastics, handguards, all kinds of shit. Bore kits. You know, the 400 I think has the 440 kit. The 650 has the 790 kit. I think the 725 kit, the 780 kit, and it even has the fucking DR900 big bore, but that's not sold as a kit, and it probably never will be. But ProCycle has put a 900 fucking cc, you know, piston and everything in a DR650, and it still keeps its reliability. So when trying to choose between these two bikes, you basically got to ask yourself, what's more important to you? Having the torque that's better for commuting, or having the lighter power to weight ratio for kind of racing around back roads or racing at the track? You know, each bike can be raced and is very nimble. You know, as you can see here, it's a very nimble bike, despite it being 350 some fucking pounds. You know, this video is not really to say one of these bikes is better than the other. They're both great bikes, and it was something I had to decide for myself when I was looking to get a supermoto. You know, DRZ-400 or DRZ-650. I had to choose between that, and I chose the 650 because of its extra torque, its extra weight, its more simple design. You know, I'm not very mechanically inclined, and the DR650 doesn't require you to be that mechanically inclined. All you got to know is how to change oil, change some sprockets, and change a chain, you know, change tires, and you know, you don't really have to do all that much to it. You know, you don't have to learn water systems and anything like that. You know, liquid cooled systems, water pumps. You don't have to learn how any of that works. Basically, you just keep the damn thing full of oil and it'd be good to you. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think. Let me know your comments and stuff below. Let me know if you own one of these bikes. Let me know which bike you own. If you have a question about one of these bikes, go ahead and ask me, and I can give you my expert opinion on the matter. You know, if you're trying to like decide between the two and you want to know something specific, you know, let me know below what the deal is, and I'll be happy to help you out. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. And like I said, leave your comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later!